Tel Aviv is marking the 15th International Animation Festival, Animix. One of the most prominent guests this year is Richard Mcguire, whose work has been featured in international publications ranging from The New Yorker to Le Monde. So what's next for the illustrator who once drew up Barack Obama and Sarah Palin in a physical altercation? Ayman Sicseck met him today.
So Richard Mcguire, welcome to Israel and welcome to the news today. Thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
We started discussing a little bit about your book and the ebook version, which is a very special version, and you'll tell us a little bit about that. And already I'm thinking this really coincides with a lot of what we hear, that print is dead, there's no future in print. As an artist who's made this shift, do you think we were too quick to make that judgment?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, books are just the best medium there is, I think, you know. I mean, this particular book that I'm doing, the story is non-linear, but I think just as any kind of media device, I mean, the reason the book has lasted so long is just because it's perfect, you know. You know, I am definitely interested in other mediums. I love experimenting, and in this particular story, it was nice to do another version of it that is like a new media version.
So there is a real difference with illustrations and also with text, with holding the book in your hand and smelling the book sometimes, feeling it, and looking at a screen. But what freedoms does it allow you, the new format of the ebook, the tablet? What options does it open up for you that haven't been available before?
Well, I have to say, there's not a hierarchy. The one is not better than the other, for sure. And they both have their strengths. But the fact that the book is a nonlinear experience, the ebook, I wanted to take advantage of that. So you can actually, it reshuffles the book, and it makes it, the panels are not connected to the backgrounds anymore. So you can see a new experience every time.
And there's so many, like you say, so many topics to touch on. What inspires you? What is that thing that makes you want to create?
As far as the comics medium, I went to see a lecture by Art Spiegelman, and he was talking about comics being like, they're just diagrams of storytelling. And that was a really big moment for me to suddenly realize, like, oh, I can tell a story and build it like this with layers of information, the way it would, like a map would work, you know.
Is that what keeps the edge, the thrill of it for you, the new experiments? Because after, you know, appearing on the cover of The New Yorker and Le Monde and so many international publications, is that what keeps you excited about what you do?
I think I'm always trying to put myself in positions where I'm not completely comfortable, and I don't, I have this opportunity now to even do a virtual reality version of the book, which I'm excited about. I like experimenting. I don't know. That's really, I think that's my primary motivation, is probably just always trying to grow as an artist, you know.
So I want to go back to The New Yorker a little bit. You know, there's this famous Seinfeld episode about the New Yorker comics that no one gets, you know, and this is experience, I think, none of the characters, I mean, in Seinfeld.
Right.
No one gets it. And there's this, this is a prevalent maybe notion around for some people. What do you think about it? What's your take on that?
Oh my God. Well, you know, from my personal connection to The New Yorker is not with the comics section. There's no, like, the covers are designed as almost the cover design falls under a completely different world than that magazine, and that's primarily what I concentrate on. You know, I'm not really. I mean, I've done this is my first graphic novel. I'm not really a comics person. I feel I'm an honorary member of the comics community. I'm really not a full-fledged member. And I feel, so it's strange for me to be making comments on the comics, because I don't really feel that connected to that. But I don't know. But The New Yorker is an incredible magazine. I'm thrilled to be involved with it, and, you know, just feel lucky to be able to have that as a format.
Are you worried about touching on politics, sometimes controversial issues? Because that also happens a lot with illustrators and artists.
Yeah, it is strange when you're working for, I mean, there is a filter there. You know, you can pitch. That's what I do all the time. Is I pitch ideas to them, and then it's yes or no. So it has to jump through the hurdles of their own agenda. So.
Is it sometimes no because it's too controversial?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So do you believe? I mean, especially I have to ask this because obviously last year, Charlie Hebdo, the terrible attacks.
Right.
Do you believe there is such a thing as a comic that goes too far?
No, I think everything should be allowed. I'm a firm believer in freedom of speech, obviously, but the Charlie Hebdo attack was really like, I mean, the New Yorker, for instance, wrote me right away and said, come up with an idea for the cover. And I had to digest it first. I didn't know how I felt about that. But I did do a cover for Libe in the French. And I was saying, use a French artist, don't use it. I don't want to do it, because I was a little bit too, and they were like, no, we want you to do it. And I finally felt I came up with a solution. So as an artist, you should just do what you want to do. It's up to others if they want to print it or not. I wouldn't censor myself. Even doing this book, I mean, the original version of this book was a short story that I did in 1989. And then I decided, you know, it was worthy of expanding into a book, you know. And that's one thing that the comic medium does that no other medium can do, is that, I mean, there's something, I've seen, somebody made a short film of the book, and it doesn't work as a film. It really works only as comics, because you can get this simultaneous view, and that's one of comics' biggest strengths is these devices that only that medium can do.
And you know, just before we met, I was reminding myself online of the different covers you created. Is there one, I know this is probably something you get asked a lot, but is there one that's dear to you in a specific way, or you enjoyed working on the most, or has a nice story?
I think maybe the first cover I did for them, I pitched the cover idea before I even had the idea. They said, oh, we're doing a special issue and it's going to be on the newsstands for 2 weeks. So I said, oh, what about an image you can turn upside down and it turns into 2 different images? And so I pitched the idea, and they looked at it and they were like, no, it's not working. And I kept trying and trying and trying, and finally it got in. So to me, that was like the you know, and I had the logo written on both sides, so you can read it either way. So that's my favorite.
And you know, Here has such an interesting history from way back when it was published till now in this new version. Is there, can you imagine what will happen with it next? In another 10 years, another 15 years, is there something that you hope it will happen with it?
Well, who knows what could possibly happen. If virtual reality becomes the new big thing, that could be a really interesting thing, to be in the room, actually in the room, and like walking through the panels and being able to like immerse yourself into each world could be nice.
Well, I'd love to have that experience of finally walking into the room that I've seen in the comics so much. Richard Mcguire, thank you so much for speaking with us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.